some girls to come on tonight, and they all said no.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Sup, y'all? Welcome to Josh. Come on, man.
Every time
with my flow. Every time. Sup, y'all? This is Patrick. I messed it up. This is the Crossboard Gaming Podcast. I'm Patrick, otherwise known as Huge Cow Patty or HCP for short. And tonight I am joined by my sound guy / producer, Mr. Assad, also known as Anafix.
What's up?
We have Mr. Darman.
Whoa.
Smoke coming out of his nose like a dragon. And in picture form only. It's a still photo, and it's a darn good looking photo at that. We have Mr. Tyrone.
Omaru Shinderu.
How many years ago was that picture? I have to ask.
Yeah,
that was taken in high school.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to be like insulting.
What's that? 12 years?
I was maybe 16, 17, I think.
So 14 years.
Yeah, I'm 29 now. So.
Yeah. There you go.
Wow. That was closer than I thought it was.
You were pretty close. Yes, and you may remember Tyrone from the night that I did the showcase of artists on Jackbox Party Pack. That was a lot of fun. We'll have to do that again sometime. So we got a lot of really cool stuff to talk about here on the podcast, like the supposed Sony leak. It seems like that's what all the episodes of the show are going to be about, just leaks of E3 until E3 happens, because the last episode was all about the supposed Nintendo leak. I haven't heard that Microsoft has leaked anything yet, so who knows? We'll see. But before we get into that, I like to ask all my panelists how we're doing. And since Tyrone is our guest, I'm going to start with you. So Tyrone, how you doing? What's new in your life? And is there anything going on that you just really want our listeners to know about?
Well, I actually managed to shell out. I promised myself, actually, I bought the new God of War for PS4, like, I would say about a month ago, but everyone was talking about how great it looks in 4K HD. So I promised myself I'm not going to start playing this game until I get myself an HD TV, a 4K HD TV, and a PS4 Pro, which I just got over the weekend. And I've been playing this pretty much every night ever since. I've been playing God of War since the PS2, man. So
yeah,
you remember those polys?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember those polys, and those polys still look good today. Make no mistake. I still
agreed.
Have PS2 copies of the first two God of Wars, and they have aged very, very gracefully. But this is on a whole nother level. This is like, I mean, if you could put together like The Last of Us, the new Tomb Raiders, Dark Souls, and everything that Breath of the Wild wish it could be, that would be the God of
War. Whoa. Okay, all right.
Oh, we got the shade flying.
Oh, please. I come in with shade. I was born with
shade.
Oh, wow.
I came out the womb saying to my mama, you want to push again?
Wow. Oh my gosh, you might have to be a regular if you keep this up.
I feel like I should drop another D with that, but
I know. Oh,
no, you don't need a D. You can just hold this L for the rest of the cast.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Okay, before the burn gets any worse, I'm just gonna go ahead and move on to Darman. So Darman, if you're feeling okay after that, what's going on?
Talk to Assad.
Okay, Assad, we'll move on to you. We'll come back to Josh. He needs some aloe vera.
Well,
just down the road.
So last night, Darwin was streaming Borderlands 2. So I was wandering onto the Humble store and saw that just about all the Borderlands were on sale there. And nice. I decided to pick up the pre-sequel for like $12.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Darman is going to get it tomorrow.
Yep, right before it expires, I will be picking it up and we'll start a family party together.
When does it expire?
Tomorrow.
Wednesday night. Okay, so since this will be up tomorrow, I'll go ahead and put a link, the Crossboard Gaming link, in the description of the podcast. But do be aware, if you don't pick it up the day that I post the video, the sale will be gone. You are still more than welcome to spend whatever amount of money that they're asking for normally on it, but you won't get the sale price unless you do that. So, well, cool. The pre-sequel is the Telltale game is Tales from the Borderlands, isn't it?
Yes,
that's right.
So the pre-sequel is still a shooter.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
A Fallout ripoff. Yeah.
A what?
A Fallout ripoff.
Man, there's too many genres mixed into what is Borderlands. I don't think that's fair being able to call it just a Fallout ripoff.
All right, then. You would know better than I.
All right, Josh, are you feeling up to talking now?
Yeah. So in the realm of Josh, I play a lot of Hearthstone, as you know.
No.
So no, you wouldn't know.
You don't say.
But
Could have swore you were like side scrollers only.
I'm sorry, my name isn't.
It's not
my name
Joel.
is not Clue or Joel.
Clue. All right. Anyway, Hearthstone.
So I have a bit of contention with the policy of how to balance cards, and today they hit a whole bunch of cards. They dropped 3 different decks into unplayable category in terms of being able to compete and go up the ranked ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Blizzard has this thing: you always nerf things. You never make anything else stronger. You just beat the best things into the ground so nobody can play them.
That's lame.
It is lame because it has allowed one deck in particular to rise to the top of the format, and this deck folds to nothing. It beats aggro because it has a lot of life gain. It beats mid-range because it's a mid-range deck with a combo at the top end. I'm very impressed by your balancing skills.
You said something about balancing cards. I don't have a card on me, but I have my phone, and I was wondering, is this how you balance a card?
It's more like this, and then you just throw it out the window.
You have a card. I'm not throwing this.
I was hoping you would follow suit.
Continue. So for those of you who play Hearthstone, I'm sure you all understood that. None of us did.
Oh, come on. I thought I broke that down into enough stupid term.
I have an idea of what he means.
So a certain type of deck works its way up to the top, and
No. It's not even that this deck was already good. This deck was up with 5 other decks. They hit 4 of those 5 decks, so now there's only 2 decks you can play. You can play combo, and you can play this stupid freaking bullcrap. It should have been nerfed. This should have been nerfed along with everything else, and then we would have had a healthy meta. But no, we nerf everything that we see having this percentage and don't even look at the Undertaker that is ready to eat those decks alive post-nerf.
Thanks, Obama.
Accurate.
And he can say that because he's the black guy.
Can't say that, Patty. You could have just left it alone.
No. Okay. Anyway, new with me. We got a puppy, and I was excited about it when we picked it up, and then when it whined all that night, I was less excited about it.
Is this a virtual in-game puppy?
No. This is like an actual. If it was a virtual in-game puppy, I just unplug the thing and be like, "Shut up." But no, this is like a. It's got matter and organs and blood.
Strictly speaking, you can unplug this one too. It's just you'll never
awful.
be able to plug it back in.
You're a terrible human being.
No. Of course, it depends on which state you're in, but
So we're trying to break it of this habit of whining. The good news is it has yet to use the bathroom in the house, which I thought was also going to be a problem, but it hasn't. So that's good. My wife has raised dogs from puppy to adult. I've only ever just had adult dogs, so this is new for me. So she's taking care of it, and she says she knows what she's doing, and I'm assuming that she does know what she's doing, because today when I came home, the dog was not whining. And like when I say that the dog whines all the time, I literally mean there was a time when I didn't, and I didn't know what the dog sounded like not making that noise, because it's all it ever did. So when I got home today, before I came over here to do the podcast, the dog was not making that whimpering sound. So whatever she's doing must be working. So, and I'm glad, because she was the one who wanted the puppy, and no joke, after that first night, she looked at me and was like, if that puppy does not stop whining, I will sell it. And I'm like, well, okay. So, but it seems like it's going better. And yeah, that's about all that's new with me. My son's going to be in town Thursday. About by the time we get done with the podcast on Thursday night, he'll be here. So that's
Here
exciting.
for the summer.
Yep, for the summer. So that'll be exciting. We'll stream with him, and because he likes playing Minecraft and stuff like that. So we'll have a lot of fun.
How old is he?
He will be 10 in September.
Wow.
He's right at the ripe old age to learn how to play a real man's game.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. Well, I mean, he plays Halo already. And
Oh
then
yeah, that's definitely a real
someone's
man's
gonna
game.
make it.
He was holding up magic cards.
Yeah. All right.
I'm just saying, I have a shoebox here, ready to give some kid.
Hmm.
I don't know if you think your son would be into that or not, but
I don't know. He might be.
it'd be something you guys can look at together.
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
Maybe. All right, cool. I'll send you a small box at first.
Okay, because I don't know how to play it either, so I'd have to learn.
It'd be a great bonding experience.
That's true. All right. Normally I would do a Humble Bundle read, but we kind of already talked about Humble Bundle, so I'm not going to do another read. Just go to Humble Bundle, buy Borderlands 2. There you go. All right. Let's run through these games.
Prequel,
Or the
because we're having the family game.
That's true.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right. We're going to talk about new game releases and then the new games with gold. And if you're wondering, like, hey, they talked about games with gold already. For you Sony people out there, Microsoft has this weird thing where some of the games with gold last all month and some of them only last for 2 weeks. So in the middle of the month, the games change. And it's weird and it's annoying. And as an Xbox user, I can tell you, I don't like it. Phil Spencer, if somehow this winds up in front of you and you're listening to it, first of all, that's awesome. So thank you. And secondly, why do y'all do that? It's weird. Just do like Sony does. Games at the beginning of the month and then change it at the beginning of the month. Let's just make it easy on everybody. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get into the game releases. So this week on the 22nd, which is today, the day that we're recording this, so yesterday for all of you listening to it, we have Tennis World Tour for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. I've never heard of that game, but I'm assuming it's a tennis game. So
Yeah.
there you go. Runner 3.
No. Actually, no. I've heard about that one. That's the unreleased DLC for The Last Guardian.
Oh, yeah, obviously. And for some reason, it's out on Xbox, Switch, and PC. You can download it for those, but since you can't buy the base game, you can't play it. So congratulations. Runner 3 is coming out for Switch and PC. I do believe that's a timed exclusive for Switch. I'm pretty sure it's coming to Xbox and PS4 later. I just don't know when. And Runner, of course, is if you've played the Bit Trip Runner games. I've played 2. I haven't played 1, and it's really good. So you should check it out. Pixel Ripped 1989 for PS4 and PC. I've also never heard of this. My Sony people, do you know what this is?
Oh, no. Can't say.
Okay.
I think it's some sort of VR game, actually.
Oh, so maybe PlayStation VR and
It doesn't have the VR
weird.
tag on it.
Yeah, and that's weird that it would say PC instead of like Oculus or something. But who knows? Maybe it is VR. Maybe you have the option to play it in VR and you don't have to. Then we have the Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2 for Switch.
Yeah.
That's really cool. If I remember correctly, though, there's a weird thing about it on Switch, and that's because, well, no. Okay. Capcom's going to tell you that it's because of the weirdness with the sizes of the cartridges. But I can tell you right now, there's no way in the world that those later Mega Man games are so big that they wouldn't all fit on a Switch cartridge. So this is just Capcom being weird. So if you buy it digitally, there's 1 and 2 and you can buy them separately, and I'm pretty sure they're $20 a piece. If you buy the boxed version, this game on Xbox One and PS4, the boxed version, everything's just on one disc. So you put it in there, and I guess you have to install it because that's what you have to do on the Xbox and PS4, and then they're there. But on Switch, the cartridge only comes with what is considered Legacy Collection 1, and there's a download code for Legacy Collection 2, which is stupid. So, and I've heard of games having to do this before. Like there was, what was it, NBA 2K 18 or whatever it was that came out on Switch last year. Not all of the game was on the cartridge, and that was so that the developer could save money on not buying a bigger cartridge, and that I get. I actually believe that happened. But with Mega Man, I'm not buying it, Capcom. You could have put every single one of those games on a small cartridge, so shame on you.
Well, it might be that they're not like native. It could be that they are running the multiple emulators as well.
Maybe.
As opposed to, like, because I know for things like ZSNES, different emulators, those things can get sizable.
That's true.
And you have to, that's on PC that they're sizable, right?
Yeah.
You have to create a whole new interpreter system for the Switch so that Switch can read the ROMs. And
yeah.
So I'm not saying that it's not possible, right? But it absolutely does fit the bill for, I don't want to pay for the 2 gig cartridge when I can just pay for a 1 gig cartridge.
Right.
That
maybe
seems
that's it.
mostly reasonable. And for those of you who are on Steam, these things are already out, and there's actually a bundle to get the Legacy Collection 1 and 2. It is $30 on Steam. That's not a timed thing. That just exists.
Oh. So that's $10 cheaper non-console, because I'm pretty sure it's 40 on Xbox, PS4, and then
getting both of them together on Steam is $30 or $29.03, or you can get Legacy Collection 2 for $20 and Collection 1 for $15.
Okay, so you're saving a little bit by buying them both.
And that's PC.
Yeah,
on Steam.
Right. Cool beans. All right. Now this stuff is coming out on the 25th. So this is Detroit Become Human. It's a PS4 exclusive that I'm interested in. I don't have a PS4, so I can't play it, but it looks really good.
Yeah. Somewhat.
Have Tyrone and Assad, I know there's a demo of this. Have either of you played it?
I've not, but I probably will take it upon myself to do so sometime this week. I have a bit of mixed reactions with David Cage's games.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate his purely cinematic, narrative-driven approach, but I do feel at the other time he takes it a little too far. I wonder if he's carrying the same kind of baggage and wearing the same emotional wounds on his sleeves that Hideo Kojima is wearing. You know, wanting to be a filmmaker and couldn't, so he made video games, and he punishes all of us by making all of his games basically just movies with some gameplay.
I mean, there's nothing strictly wrong with that, though. But, yeah.
It does get a little bit self-indulgent at times.
It can.
That makes sense.
For sure.
Yeah.
It honestly feels like he's conducting his own therapy on himself, and we're all paying for the bill. At the same time, I did like Beyond Two Souls, so I'll give it a shot.
Well, cool.
And this one looks like Jennifer Lawrence rather than Ellen Page, and that's definitely an improvement.
Did Ellen Page play her in
Beyond Two Souls? Yes.
Yeah. I can never remember if she played the girl in Beyond Two Souls or the girl in The Last of Us, because they both look the same, and I remember that she sued the one that she wasn't in over that.
It was The Last of Us. The Last of Us, she was not in that, and she did throw a fit about the fact that she felt that they used her likeness for the character of Ellie.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I could see that because I thought it was her. So, Assad, have you played the demo?
No, I've only downloaded it at this point. Okay. I thought it looked interesting, but I haven't really given it a shot yet.
Cool. So that's on the 25th. That's this Friday. Also, Dark Souls Remastered, PS4, Xbox One, and PC on the 25th. Switch to be announced in summer. Is that new? Because I could have swore it was coming out the same time on every console.
I don't think so. I know that Dark Souls Remastered has been in development for the main 2 and PC for quite some time. So usually Switch is an afterthought. That's the way Nintendo has been doing us for these past 2 generations now.
It's true. Can't argue with that. And then for those of you who want to go watch a bad Star Wars movie, I'm kidding. I haven't seen it. It might be fine. I have no this is the first Star Wars movie to come out since I've been born that I was just like, A Star Wars Story is in theaters on the 24th. So I'm sure that's, like your midnight showings and stuff like that. So you can
Well, a
go
lot of
and see
theaters in
that.
my area have been doing a lot of Thursday 7 p.m. showings.
Yeah.
Yes, there's like one or two here where I live that do that 7 p.m. thing. So there you go. All right. Games with gold. Like I said, weirdness
All right,
with games
one moment.
flipping in the middle.
Going back to Star Wars.
Okay.
I'm trying to pull up Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, is it already? They already got reviews.
Well, of course, it's already got reviews.
So it's got like a 71% from critics. From I cannot access Rotten Tomatoes website right now. I just have the snapshot.
That's weird.
71% on Rotten Tomatoes, 64% Metacritic. But I did see a stat saying that there was only 48% of viewers who actually want to see this film. Probably, and I don't want to extrapolate too far into why that may be, but it strongly has been indicated in many of the Star Wars communities to be tied to the political commentary injected into The Last Jedi, and the writers' comments on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, Ron Howard, who played Andy Griffith's son in the Andy Griffith Show, and he's become a director in his adult life. He's an amazing director. He's also super political, and I'm pretty sure he directed this movie.
I am.
He did.
Yeah.
I'm okay with a political movie, right? Because there are definitely certain themes that you can draw from the Empire, the very neo-Nazism kind of stuff. And that's definitely a thing that has always been a part of what the Empire is.
And just decided to do neo-Nazi this time. They decided to do full-blown reenactments from Triumph of the Will.
Exactly. Like, with George Lucas trilogy, or should I say the one movie that he did and the other two that Steven Spielberg finished, you had those more... It wasn't as ostentatious, right?
Yeah.
But then TLJ just took it the next step further, and it didn't need to go there. I think because of the lower review score by critics, like 71% is not good for a Rotten Tomatoes thing. It's this is a barely passable film because it was very well done visually, right?
Yeah,
right.
The writing and everything else may not have been up to snuff for what a Rotten Tomatoes critic is going to look for. Examples, the reviews for Justice League and some of the recent Marvel films.
Yeah.
Like, they're looking for something else. I have hopes that this is actually going to be a good story, a good Star Wars movie because of that.
Well, we can only hope. I mean, there is the whole big controversy that they made Lando Calrissian a pansexual. So.
And that was a really flippant comment that didn't need to be made by any of the writers or directors or whoever.
Yeah.
But honestly, that really does not bother me because it fits in line with who Lando was as a character. He's morally ambiguous. Many of the Star Wars characters are. Like, did it need to be overtly said? No. Could you work it into the story as a joke between, like, I'm going to look at this person in a very direct manner? Yeah, you could do it that way and just play it off. Like, there's ways you can cleverly do it. You don't have to be J.K. Rowling.
Right. Well, the good news is it has a better Rotten Tomatoes score than The Phantom Menace, which is 55% by the critics. So it's got that going.
Of course, but that's like saying that, head cold is better than Lyme disease. So
Where's the lie, right?
I haven't found.
I don't see
404, lie not found.
All right. Games with Gold. So if you have an Xbox Live Gold subscription, you get these games. Just a reminder to everyone, in case you forgot, the Xbox One games work like PlayStation Plus. As long as your subscription is current, you have access to the game. The Xbox 360 games, on the other hand, you just own them outright. So if you if your Xbox Live Gold subscription lapses and you don't want to renew it, you get the 360 games, and every 360 game that is on Games with Gold is backwards compatible with the Xbox One. So we have Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. That's good through June 15th. So you can go get that. Again, Super Mega Baseball 2, which was already on the list last time. That is good until May 31st. Both of those are Xbox One games. The Xbox 360 game that's on here is one I haven't played and I really want to. Unfortunately, my gold subscription isn't good, so I don't get it. But it's Vanquish, which is by Platinum Games.
I have that on PS3.
You like it?
Me too.
Let me say one simple thing. Rocket-powered knee slide.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It's amazing, actually.
It's a Platinum game. You know, they did the Bayonetta and other things that I can't think of.
You uncultured swine.
Oh, they also did. If you're one of the very few people that have a Wii U and you haven't played the Wonderful 101, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
The game's amazing. It's so underrated too, because it's really weird.
For you, right there.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good game right there.
Wait, what?
All right.
What's that for?
This is for Wii U, and there was a tease a while back of that Platinum tweeted of the game being played on a Switch, but that was like months ago, and no one has said anything about it since then. So who knows if it's actually going to happen? I hope it does. It would work on the Switch. So, but it's a really good game. All right. So now we've got some other news. Unfortunately, I don't have it here in the notes, so my peeps can't see it, but I'm going to go through it because I got it on my phone, and I'm just going to rattle some of these off just very quickly. And if we want to comment on them, we can. Alolan forms of Pokemon are coming to Pokemon Go. If anybody cares about Pokemon Go anymore. Is that a clap or a cough? I can't tell.
You okay?
Okay. Sega is likely teasing there was a while ago on the same day that they announced all the Sonic Mania Plus stuff. They did a real quick teaser for another Sonic racing game where it had the Sonic R in it, but it was on the front of a car. So it's like, wait, are we getting a weird Sonic R2 or are we getting another Sonic Racing Transform game? I don't know.
It's going to be good this time.
Right. So
Sonic R remastered.
Yes.
No.
I would pay.
I don't need to hear, you're too slow.
Come on, step it up. Shut up.
Exactly.
So that's likely coming. Call of Duty's Black Ops 4. I don't even know why it's called Black Ops 4. There's not a storyline from what I understand. It's going to have, it says a Fortnite-like Battle Royale mode, which I'm like, okay, so why'd you say Fortnite and not PUBG? Does that mean I'm going to be building in it? I don't know.
That's funny.
That is funny. So
Very
that's
good
going to
question.
That's going to be there. And then the two things that I want to talk a little bit more about than just going over them. Capcom is bringing Resident Evil 7 to the Switch, but you have to stream it.
What?
Yeah.
Meh.
So
You can't even download it?
right, I guess you'll download some sort of like launcher client to your Switch, and then you'll stream the game. And I wonder, because obviously the Switch is not as powerful as the Xbox One, the PS4, or modern day PCs. I wonder if this is how they're going to keep it like that higher fidelity, the better graphics without, I mean, because obviously it's not going to be any higher than 720p on handheld mode and 1080p in docked mode, but it's probably still pretty graphically intensive. And maybe it's just they didn't want to dumb it down for the Switch itself, so they're going to run it on a server.
So Nintendo, this is kind of a beacon call from the third-party developers out there. When we have to stream our game on your system, that means you guys are weird.
Well,
You're making us do weird things.
What's really weird about this, though, is there was a video that came out before the Switch launched, but after Nintendo had already announced what the thing was. And it was about Nintendo having gone to developers and asking them like, okay, here's this thing, what can you do with it? And Capcom specifically about Resident Evil 7 told Nintendo, you need to up the RAM from whatever it was that they had to whatever, to some other number. And Nintendo actually did it. So that said to me, oh, okay, so Capcom's going to put Resident Evil 7 on the Switch. And now they kind of are, but they're not running it on the Switch. And I'm like, so was the RAM not the only problem? I mean, apparently it is, but that was just weird.
It is weird.
So,
speaking of weird, I totally forgot that I'm actually wearing Capcom paraphernalia.
I didn't.
I
saw your arm.
Okay, so far it's only announced for Japan. It includes all the DLC, and it's only about $20. So that's interesting too.
Well, Capcom's actually been very good with lower price re-releases of their older games, like that Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition for PS4. That was like a whole lot of game that the original one never had, and it's like $20. So
I think Capcom is going through a really weird period in their production cycle.
Yeah.
Because if you look, they are turning back towards, oh, we got to put out the Legacy Collection. We got to put out Mega Man. We got to bring back more Capcom versus Tekken, all the fighting games. But they're selling less and less, and they're not retaining their player base.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, so, I heard RE7 sold really, really well.
RE7 did. A lot of their mainline single player stuff is selling really well. But they're not the ones that are like specifically developing it, though.
Yeah.
We're talking the throwbacks.
Oh, yeah, true. And unfortunately, the last couple Dead Rising games have not been.
They've not been good,
from what I've heard.
No, they just have not been good. Dead Rising 3 was kind of a crapshoot.
I have Dead Rising 3, and it's not great. And I was happy to
you picked it up.
Probably launch day for the Xbox One.
And that was the only day you touched it.
Yep. And I heard RE Dead Rising 4 had Frank West in it again, so that was exciting. But I heard the game just in general is not a good game.
I wasn't aware that even existed.
Well,
it's part of the problem.
Right.
They are not marketing. They just are not marketing well outside of Japan.
And another problem is if Dead Rising. What am I trying to say?
Resident Evil?
Not Resident Evil. No, I am trying to say Dead Rising. They're both zombie games. It's driving me crazy. Dead Rising 4, if it's like the other Dead Risings, it's on Xbox One first, and then it comes to everything else later. And Xbox One just doesn't have the player base that the 360 had. You know, when Dead Rising 1 was a 360 exclusive, that was great. Everyone and their mother had a 360. And that's just not the case this time around. So,
nope.
All right. And then the other thing that I wanted to spend a little bit of time on, any of you guys have Best Buy's Gamers Club?
Negative. I didn't know that.
So it's a service that you pay $30 a year. You get 20% discount on all, I think, new games. And then you get 10% off used games and an extra 10% in trade-in credit, which some of you might be like, wait, Best Buy takes trade-ins? Yes, they do. That was to compete with a perk that you get if you have Amazon Prime, which is 20% off all pre-order games. Well, Best Buy has just announced that they are no longer accepting new members into the club because once all of the current member subscriptions expire, they're getting rid of it. And I know a lot of people who had that, and that because of it, that's where they bought other games, was Best Buy. Like, I know I've got Amazon Prime, and because I get that 20% discount on pre-order games, even though I really thought that the Switch was going to be the console to get me to go completely digital, because I can get a $60 game for $49 from Amazon, I buy the physical copies from Amazon. And that's the only reason. And so I know a lot of people who had this Best Buy program, and that was the reason they were buying their games at Best Buy. Well, now maybe they go buy them somewhere else. But apparently Best Buy's not doing it anymore because it's not worth it to them. Otherwise, I'm sure they'd keep doing it.
Yep.
The retail margins are so small. A lot of used game stores I've talked to. There's actually a really good YouTube video on it. It was actually a Forbes article I read, I think, 2 years ago, talking about the margins of new games as opposed to older games. These newer games they lack a couple things. Number one, replayability.
Yeah.
You play through a story once and you've had your cinematic experience, you're done. There's no reason to go back. You're not trying to. Most sane people are not trying to speedrun these games.
Right. Or 100% Assassin's Creed. Like,
right.
no
I mean, those people exist, and that's fine. That's great. But nobody is going back and hunting for these games. There are so many of them. There's so many copies that are just floating around in warehouses. Where they really make money, these small game stores, is the day they come out or the couple days leading to it. And if they try and sell it ahead to somebody, like, hey, I'll pay the extra $20. I don't care if it's $100. I got to play this. I got to get it done first. These stores get fined huge amounts of money if they break street date.
Oh, yeah.
And the margins on these games, by the time it gets to a small hand retailer, after taxes and everything, they're only making a couple bucks for each game. These $70, $80 games, Walmart's only making like $4 or $5 from the distribution of each case.
Yep.
Yeah.
Case.
And that's actually why when Microsoft announced that all of their new games going forward, starting with Sea of Thieves, are going to be in Game Pass, there was a game retailer in Australia that said, we're not selling the Xbox One anymore, because the console was what you got people in the store, and the games were because no one's making any money on the console either.
No,
so
absolutely not. In
the
fact,
console got people in the store, and the games are how, the $2 or $3 or $4 or whatever they're making, and maybe the profit margins in Australia are even worse than they are other places, because I know games are just more expensive down there in general. But so now you no longer have people coming in and buying an Xbox One and then buying games. They're buying the Xbox One. Maybe they pick up, a third-party game that's not in Game Pass, but then they go home and they get Game Pass, or at least that's what Microsoft's hoping, and they never come back to the store. And that retailer was like, nope, sorry, we're not selling Xbox One anymore.
And part of that is that the way it used to work is that you would subsidize the cost of a console. You would sell a console for less than what it costs to put it together, market it, and ship it.
Unless you're Nintendo.
A distributor. Nintendo never did this. No, Nintendo pays full SDK. Let me finish the thought.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo is the unique solution to the problem. So back during the PS3 launch, the Xbox 360 arcade, and the mainline console launches, they would subsidize the cost of the console by padding the disc prices and the cost of the development kits. So the developers were footing the cost of the consoles, and that's part of how they were able to push these games out so quickly. They were taking the cut in the short term to get the consoles all out there and then get that cost back on each game. You don't have that anymore.
Right. Well, that's why you have PlayStation Network. That's why you have Xbox Live Gold. That's why Nintendo is getting into that game. Is you've got even when console sales dry up and game sales start to dry up, you've still got those people that are paying that subscription fee, and that's where the money comes from.
Subscription fee is super important too, because it hosts the network. It hosts all of the game chats, the servers for multiplayer. Now, with Nintendo coming in so late into that game, I'm not surprised that their fee looks kind of big for some people for what's there. But you got to understand, they don't have the existing infrastructure that Sony and Microsoft have been building for about 15 years.
Yep. Yeah. Especially Microsoft, because Xbox Live has actually been a thing since the original Xbox.
Since 2000, yeah. So I really hope that Nintendo explores its capabilities once they've gotten that funding. Because right now, they're just kind of hosting the servers on SDK funds
Right.
from development kits.
Well, Nintendo, and I always hesitate to say this because I don't want it to sound cold, but when Iwata passed away and the new guy came in, and actually now and I don't remember his name, but he has stepped down, and he was never intending to be the permanent president of Nintendo. It was always supposed to be an interim thing. He stepped down, and he's got this younger guy, and I don't have any other names in front of me, so you have to forgive me. And I just know Iwata's name because he's freaking Iwata. He stepped down, and they got this new younger guy in, and he even said, the guy who was president between Iwata and the new guy said it's time for Nintendo to start getting younger people in here who know the gaming market better than those of us who have been here since the 80s, because they know, what the market wants, and we don't necessarily know that. And yeah, he's talking about people like Shigeru Miyamoto and Koji Kondo and Aonuma. And these are the creator of Mario and Zelda, the current producer of all the Zelda games, and the guy who writes the music for all the games. They still make really good games, but when it comes to making decisions about how these things should move forward, they're kind of behind the times, and Iwata was part of that. And so I think since Iwata passed away and these younger people have kind of come up into the company, you're starting to see that shift away from the old way of Nintendo doing things to still some of the old way of Nintendo doing things, but a lot of newer, better ideas. And I mean, and when I say some of the old Nintendo way of doing things, we still have that stupid phone app that we have to chat with on the Switch, and that's stupid. And I think, unfortunately, just because of the way the Switch was designed, for as long as the Switch is a thing, we're stuck with that. But I do think when Switch 2 or whatever it is that comes out, years down the road, we'll start to see them incorporating a lot more of this stuff that Microsoft has been laying a foundation to since 2000, and Sony has been laying their own foundation since, a little bit in the PS2 era, because you could get that modem for it, but really with the PlayStation 3. And it's coming. It's gonna take a little while. So
yeah.
All right, I want to move into our main topic, which is the Sony E3 leak. But before I do that, I want to tell all of you about Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime is an excellent service for Twitch users. You get exclusive emoticons. You get a badge next to your name in the chat so that you can make all of your friends jealous. Like, ooh, he's got Twitch Prime. I want that. And then they'll go get it. It also comes with all of the perks of, excuse me, hang on. There we go. All of the perks of Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime's great. I was talking about Amazon Prime earlier. You get that 20% discount on pre-orders of games. It used to be any new game within 2 weeks of its release, but they recently pushed that back to no, you have to pre-order it. So as long as you order the game before, I think, midnight the day it comes out, you get the pre-order discount, and that's really cool. You also get Amazon Prime Video. Amazon Prime Video actually has a lot of really good anime. If you have Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime, go watch Inuyashika. That is a freaking awesome anime. So yeah, that's all that stuff. We have a Amazon affiliate link or a Twitch Prime affiliate link down in the description of this podcast, and if you use that link, you get 30 days for free to try it out. So, and I forgot to mention my favorite part of it, the 2-day shipping that doesn't cost you anything. It's awesome. All right.